Hello.
Hello.
Hi, everybody. I don't know if
Hi.
there was a hello. I don't know if there was a mix-up with our links. I was on a different link, so I apologize if you've been waiting.
Yes, I was on another one. I left and then came back on another. I don't know. Something happened, but it's like the meeting has started on the other side.
Okay, yeah, that's weird. I apologize. Hang on. Let me see. I'm gonna go into the other meeting real quick and see if there's anyone else and make them come over here to this link. Just one second. Okay. I don't see anyone else in the other meeting. I'm sure there were probably others that wanted to join today. So I apologize to everybody, but we will get started and I will be sure that we post both of these sessions on the professional development website, on the SCCHWA website under the professional development link. And I'm going to go ahead and today we're just going to dive a little bit deeper into what we were talking about yesterday, but we'll go into new things, new tips and tricks that might help you out. We're going to talk about maintaining a large amount of data within a spreadsheet. We're going to talk about working with multiple worksheets and linking workbooks and importing data if we need to. And then we're going to go into text to column wizard and the VLOOKUPs. So we'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead.
Um,
Yeah.
I don't have the sheet because I'm working from home today, so I don't have the spreadsheet. I couldn't find it. Like, where was it that we were supposed to open it so we can practice on it? Can you send it or put it on the chat, please?
Yeah. Do you have the file that you had yesterday?
The email?
The Excel file that was on the email yesterday? Yeah.
Okay. Let me check and see.
It should be on the second worksheet within that same Excel file. So let me know
Yeah,
if you
I'm
don't
not on the
see it.
same computer, so let me check and see if I can find it in the email.
No problem. Yeah, take your time. All right. Y'all feel free to interrupt me if you have questions, and then just let me know in case I don't see the chat or anything. We're going to go ahead and start. Okay, so first we'll talk about maintaining a large spreadsheet. I know that this is just sample data, so it's not going to be a lot of data, but you might be maintaining a spreadsheet that has multiple rows and columns. So some ways that you can kind of hone in on some of those details that you want to see. You can go over here, down here to this bottom right. You can zoom in. So let's say like we want to really look at, these top few rows or whatever. You can zoom in by pressing this plus sign, or you can zoom out by pressing the negative sign. The 100% mark is in the middle, so that would be your normal view here. You can also go up here and click on zoom where this magnifying glass is, and you've got magnification percentages that you can select of what your view is. You can also fit to selection. So let's cancel this and I'll show you what that means. If you only wanted to look at, let's say, maybe you just wanted to see this section that I've highlighted here, you would go back to zoom and go to fit selection and press OK. And then it zooms in onto those specific records that you had selected within your spreadsheet. And then you can go back to 100% down here if you wanted, or you can go back here and click to 100%, which is your regular view, and press OK. Another way, let's say you wanted to compare, people that paid kind of early in the year versus people that paid kind of later in the year, because this is already sorted by date. We've got our early dates up here, June, July, August, and we've got September, October, November down here. You can select anywhere in the spreadsheet where you would want to split view. So what it's called split view. So let's say I want to split it when September ends. So I'm going to go right underneath here because this is September and starts October. So anywhere I want it to split, I'm selecting that row by clicking and go to, it's this little picture right here. If you hover over it, it says split. Yours actually may have, it may just say split right up here, and you won't see this picture possibly. But like I said before, mine's a little bit of a condensed view. You just click split, and we are under the view tab, by the way. Click split, and then you'll notice that this line shows up. So then you've got the arrows that you can move the cursor up and down here, and then you can do it up and down up here. It is the same exact information on the top as it is the bottom. But like I said, if you wanted to compare your dates that people paid in October versus like early June, mid-July, you can easily see that information side by side, and you can scroll and see. Okay, and then if you want to get rid of the split screen, you can double click the line item, the line right here, or you can just go up here and click that split off. But we're going to just double click, and then there you go, it goes away. You can also split by columns and a row. You can do like an intersection of a spreadsheet, and you may not find this useful in this particular instance, but you might in the future. You can select wherever you want that intersection to be. So we want to split it right here and right here. So it's this point right here that it's going to split when I have this cell selected. So then let's go and test this out. Click split, and you see how it does these two. It's splitting by column and row. So then if you're down here, you've got this scroll bar that's moving this information. You've got one right here that's moving that information. And then this and that one. So just another way to kind of look at your, analyze your data more if you needed to. We're going to get rid of that. Yesterday I showed you how to freeze panes. Again, we're on the view tab still. And, if you wanted to just, you can freeze it. You don't even have to freeze it where you just see the headers. You can freeze it anywhere you want. You can go down here and say, I want to freeze any data above JSON to where it stays as I'm scrolling. You can do this, go to freeze panes and click freeze panes. You get your line that appears, and then you're scrolling and you're comparing payment dates that way possibly. We're going to click on here again and unfreeze panes. All right. And now we're going to talk about how each workbook, which this entire file is a workbook, then you have your worksheets that are down here in these different tabs, okay? To move between them, you just click on each tab that you want to work in. So we're in Data 3 worksheet, we want to work in this one, and so forth. You just click into the one that you want to work in at that moment. You can reorder these if you wanted to. So how you would do that, you just click on the tab that you want to move, hold your mouse, and then move it forward. Let's hang on, sorry. Sorry, let me go back. Thought it wasn't working for a second there. Okay, so you'll just hold your tab, click your mouse, hold it, and then move it to wherever you want it. You'll just say, oh, I want to drop it before data 2 worksheet, and then it drops it there for you once you let go of your mouse. I'm going to move that back. You can move it in between as well if you want. To add a new worksheet, all you have to do is press this plus sign here, and it may add it like earlier in the worksheet range. So if you just press that, sometimes it'll make it go like over here or something like that. But it added it to the end this time. You can rename these tabs. So all you do to rename them is double click here, and let's just say we want this one to be called sales. You just do that and click enter, and then that tab is called sales now. After that, you can also color code these tabs if you wanted to. So you would just right click on it, go to tab color. Let's just say we want this one to be blue. We click blue, and so it's a light blue right now. You can barely see it, but if you click on a different tab, you'll see that it is blue there. You can do the same thing here, tab color. Let's say we want it to be yellow. And then, so now when you're off of it, it shows as yellow and then blue. And, sometimes that's easier when you're trying to switch between different worksheets. So I am going, if you want to take that color off, you just right click and go to tab color and go down to no color. Okay. And then same thing here. We're going to go ahead and do no color again. Something else that might be helpful in the future, you might want to keep up with every time that this spreadsheet has been updated, especially if somebody else is working in the same spreadsheet, or if you just want to make, you want to make note of the last time you worked in it. You can, let's just say we're going to type in last updated, okay? So an easy way to pull in the date and the time for when it was last updated, you can press your control key on your keyboard, and then in conjunction, press the semicolon button. And as soon as you do that, the date pops up. Okay? We're going to press over or tab to the next cell. And let's say we want the time. Instead of looking at the time and you actually putting it and typing it in there, you can do control and then shift at the same time and semicolon. So all three holding them down, and the time pops up automatically. Press enter, and then there it is, your last updated time and date.
Could you say that one more time? That to get the date, it's control, shift, and...
To get the date, it is control and semicolon at the same time. And then to get the time, it is control, shift, and semicolon and press them at the same time.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Alrighty. So let's say that you want to edit the same cell, like let's say J1, okay? So let's just say we want J1 in each one of these worksheets to say the same thing, or in specific worksheets you want it to say the same thing. So we're in data 2, but whichever ones that we want the cell J1 to say the same thing, we are going to select those. So we're going to say control, and then I'm going to select data 3 and then the sales worksheets, okay? Because I want every J1 cell name to be exactly what I put in here. So I'm just going to say, let's just put training and then enter. So now when you go into that's data 3, you'll see J1 says training because it came from there. You go to practice exercise, it's not there because we didn't want it there. And then you go to sales, and it is in J1 there as well. So that's a way to do it across multiple worksheets if you ever needed to. And then you can just delete it from here, but it doesn't delete from there. If you wanted to delete it from each one, you'd go and you'd press control and then select your worksheets that you want to delete it from, and then press delete. Now, when you go into sales, it'll be gone. and it's gone from data 3 as well. All right. Another thing we can do is if we wanted to look at the same data and we wanted to start a new spreadsheet, let's say for 2024, for instance, this is 2023 data. We're going to do the same thing in 2024, but we need to look at this and we want to copy it over. All you have to do is go to the worksheet you want to copy, right click on that and go to move or copy. All right. And then we still want it to be within the same workbook. So we're going to keep this to the book that we're in, which is, it's called Training Data Session 2. And we want it to go, move it to the end. So we want the copy to go to the end. You could also say if you wanted it before a sheet, so we could put before data 2 sheet if we wanted to, and it would show up over here before it, or before any of these, and it would show in front of it. But we're going to move it to the end. And then we don't just want to move it. We want to create a copy. So we click, you always want to select create a copy if that's what your intention is to do. And then you press OK. And then now you'll see that it copied all that data over here into this last worksheet over here. And it just named it 2 in parentheses because none of these tabs can have the same exact name. Excel won't allow you to do that. Another thing that you can do that is helpful is copying data into a new workbook. So you can do the same thing. Let's go back here. Right click, go to move or copy. And so we want to start a whole new workbook, a whole new file. You just click on the to book and say new book. Now there's no sheets here because this is a brand new sheet, workbook, excuse me. Click create a copy because we don't want to move this data off of this file to a different one. We want to actually create a copy. So create a copy and press OK. And then now it opened up a brand new workbook, which it calls book 1 because we haven't saved it as a specific name yet. And it's only that tab that you copied over. All right. So let's go back to the sales tab here. And let's say we want to, I'm going to show you how to link some worksheets together. So right here, I'm going to put total tickets sold and then total cost. So, and this would be helpful, like if you wanted to do a summary tab. So this is basically like a summary of what we've got on data 2 on the spreadsheet from data 2. So we want to know total tickets sold. So we can put the equal sign, and we're going to refer back to this worksheet here. So click that. So when you do that, up here you'll see in the formula bar that it starts to say, okay, I know that what they're trying to do is get data from this data 2 worksheet, okay? And then you're going to go down and click, because this is the total quantity right here of tickets sold. So I'm going to just click, and that's F43. So now it's showing up, okay, they want the value that's in the data 2 worksheet from F43. Press enter. It brings you back to your sales tab, and now it pulls in that 125 from that specific source. So now do the same thing here for total cost. Always put your equal sign, go back to data 2, and then click in, this is the total cost. Go to G43, press enter, and then it pulled in your amount there. So anytime these 2 numbers change, then this is going to update. I'll show you. Let's say this should have been 140, then this would have been 1400, right? I changed it there, and so it changed here as well. So if you wanted to just come in and get a quick glance at like how many tickets have we sold, instead of looking at all this beforehand, you can just look straight at the sales tab. I'm going to undo that, okay? All right, so let's say I want to just look at, excuse me, the member status, the person's name, the member status, and their payment date. We can focus on those 3 columns. We can hide any of these columns that we don't want to see. So hover up here over the columns you don't want to see. So I'm just going to click on B because I don't want to see that one right now. I just want to see the name, member status, and payment date. Right click and do hide. All right, and then you can go over here and you can also hide these if you wanted to. You would just click and then drag to select them and let go of your mouse, and then right click and press hide. And now all we see is the information that we wanted to focus on. To unhide that, all you have to do is just highlight and drag through the columns that you've hid. So you can tell by this little space here that it goes from A to C, right? And then it goes from D to I. So we know that columns are hidden there. And then right click and do unhide. And everything comes back. If you wanted to import data from another worksheet, you can, let's see. You can go to, if you go up here to your data toolbar, you can go over here to, well, let's start with a blank worksheet. So I'm going to go back to this sales. We'll just start a new blank worksheet if that's okay with y'all. Go over here. And let's say we want to get data. We want to import data from another file. It doesn't have to be another worksheet. It can be from a database, from these other platforms that they've listed. But let's say we want to do it from a file. You just go to data, and then over here to your left, get data, and then from file, I would do it. You can do it from a text file, PDF, all these other ones. I'm going to click from Excel workbook. When you do that, it's going to pop up a window for you to be able to go in your files and find the file that you want to import. So let's say I want to import this practice exercises for Excel participants. Just click on it and click import. And this will pop up. And so this is saying right here that this document, this workbook has 2 worksheets inside of it. Which one do you want to import? So I just wanted, let's say, import practice session 1. It gives you a preview of what the information is. Then you just say load. And when you do that, you don't have to worry about this queries and connections. We won't go into that, but we can close that out. And now you'll see that all that information that you had in the other spreadsheet was imported in. It might be in a different format, like you can see, but it was imported in. Another thing I wanted to show y'all was how to hyperlink, how you can hyperlink to another file within a worksheet. So let's say I wrote the words learn more here. And I want to hyperlink this so that when someone clicks on it, it'll take them to, like, it could be a PDF, it could be a sound clip, a PowerPoint, it could be another Excel document or a Word document, it could be anything. So let's do that. Let's go in here and set that up. So right click and go down to link. All right, and then you can link it to an existing file, a place in this document. You can create a new document. You can link it to an email address. But right now, I'm just going to link it to somewhere within my computer. It's called this linked test file, and press OK. So when you do that, it turns into a hyperlink, as you can tell. So when you hover over it, it tells you the location of where it's found, and it's clickable. So you just click it. And when I clicked it, Word pops up with that Microsoft Word file that I have there. Okay, So I want you guys to go ahead and work on exercises 1 through 3, 1, 2, and 3. I'll give you a few minutes, and then we'll go over it together, okay?
So I was never able to get that. It's not on my downloads. I don't remember where we got it from. I looked into my email, and none of them have a link in it, so I have no idea how to get it.
Okay.
If you can send me, put your email in the text, I'll send it to you.
Thank you.
Sure. In the chat. Put it in the chat for me.
Thank y'all.
Sure. I don't see it yet. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, Anne. That's always a lifesaver.
I got you, girl.
Thanks.
All right. Since we got started a few minutes late, I'm going to go ahead and go over how we do this real quick. All right. So it says add a worksheet within the workbook named summary. So we would go down to here to our plus sign and do new sheet. So click that. It added the sheet 4 here, and we're just going to double click in there to call it summary. And then press enter, and then we've added a new worksheet named summary.
There, mine, the one that I was saying, it's got only viewing. It has no editing allowed, so I don't know how to undo that.
Is there a box at the top?
There is
right
a top,
under the
yeah.
toolbar?
It is. It says viewing, and so I clicked on it, but it's gray. It's not letting me click it. It says viewing, and it has view the file, but make no changes.
When I opened it, it didn't say that, so I'm not sure what might have happened, but I can try to send it to you again.
Yeah, I don't know how to. What was
you
that?
might have to download the file from the attachment. I'm not sure though.
Oh, I see. All right, cool.
Okay, awesome.
I got it, I think.
Good. I'm so sorry about that.
Yeah, enable editing. Yep, now
Okay.
it is.
Good. All right, so let's go to number 2, move the summary worksheet before the session 2 worksheet. So in my workbook, it's a little different than y'all's, but in order to move it, all you would do is you just click on your summary worksheet and hold your mouse down and then move it to where before the sheet that it was asking us to do. So I'm just going to move it before this one and then let go of my click on my mouse. And then now it's showing before practice exercise. All right, make a copy of the session 2 worksheet within the workbook. Again, I don't have a session 2 worksheet, but I'll just make a copy of this practice exercise worksheet. So all we would do is right click and go to move or copy. We're going to do it within the same workbook. So I'm just going to create a copy. And it doesn't say where we want it. That's fine. I'm just going to do it at the end and then press OK. And then there it is. There's our copy of our practice exercise. All right. I'm going to delete that for right now. Okay. So now we're going to go into looking at data lists and different ways to document stuff and audit yourself. You might have things that you're looking at and you might want to remember, oh, I need to think about this, or you might have a comment for a colleague that might be looking and reviewing the same document that you're reviewing. So I'll just show you how we can add comments and notes to certain cells if we wanted to. So let's say we wanted to see, we're thinking about next year's annual conference, and we're thinking, should we accept different payment methods? Should we change that up? So I'm just going to go into this. I'm going to click on this payment method cell. I'm going to right click, and I just want to make a comment for someone else to see. So my colleague is going to be looking at this later, and I want them to see this note so that they can respond and say, yeah, let's see. So you would just right click and you go down to new comment, and it's meant for conversation. So it says Nicole, but I'm using her old computer, so that's why it says Nicole. But it would say your name, and I'm just going to say, should we consider different payment options in the future? And then you can do the green arrow, and so that means that it has posted a comment to this. And when you see this little purple notch here in the corner, that means that your colleague would know, okay, let me hover. You just hover over that cell and the comment pops up for you. And then they can reply right here if they wanted to, and just say, sure, or something, and then do the green. And then you'll see that it is a response to whatever you had said. Another thing that you can do is make notes for yourself. So might be thinking, well, I thought Frank was a member. So, and it says he's a non-member. So I'm going to just go right here and right click and make a note for myself. So I'm going to go to new note. It'll say your name. And then I'm going to say a note for myself, double check to make sure he's not already a member. Oh. And then to get out of that, you just click out, because if you press enter, it's going to think you want to keep adding more to that comment. And you can edit how big the box is and stuff, but you can just click out of it, and then you'll see this little red notch here. So when you hover over that, it'll say that note there for you. If you want to remove those comments and notes, just click in the cell where it is and right click and select delete note, and then up here right click and select delete comment.
So the comments would always have a little purple and the notes would have red?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
Yeah. All right. Now we're going to talk about the text to columns wizard. Sorry. And this can be very helpful when, let's say, you've got a bunch of data and you need it in a certain format. And for instance, with this data, it's not very much, but just to give you an idea of what we're doing, we want one column for first name and one column for last name. That's just an example. But instead, we've got them both in one column right now. So the text to column wizard is great with this. First, we need somewhere for the last name to go if we want it into a separate column. So we have to insert a column in between A and B that's blank so that when we do our text to columns wizard, it will know that that's where we want the data to go, the last name. So just hover over the column to the right of where you want the new column to be inserted, and then right click and click insert. Okay, and you'll see that it inserted a column. I'm going to change this to first name, and I'm going to put last name as the header here. And then next, we're going to just select the data underneath. We don't select the header. We just select the data. You go to data up here at the top. Go over to text to columns. Click that. And keep in mind here that what we want to do is what the space in between the first and last name that we're showing on this side right here is called a delimiter. So when we go into text to columns, it's going to say, do you want a delimited file to be edited, or do you want a fixed width? And we'll go to both of these in a minute, but right now we're going to go with delimited because a space is separating the data that we want. That's where we want it to be separated. And that'll make sense in just a minute. So we'll press next. On here, it's going to have your delimiters, and tab will automatically be selected. So we're just going to unselect that, and we're going to go down here to space because that's our delimiter between our data right now, and that's where we want that column to be. So press space, and then when you notice you press space, it separates the two because it knows there's a space in between. It puts a line. So we press next. You don't really have to worry about this data format up here. We know right here it looks right. There's a column for first name and last name. And so just press finish. And now all of this data has been separated into two columns. All right, the text to columns wizard that had the fixed, what's it called? The fixed width. So we've got these fake Social Security numbers. They're all the same number, same amount of numbers. I think it's 9 numbers that's in a Social Security number. And the standard format a lot of times is the first 3 with a dash, the second 2 a dash, and then the last 4. Well, let's say we want it to show kind of like that on a spreadsheet. So we want the first 3 in one column, the second 2 in a column, and the last 4 in a column. We've got blank columns here for that data to go, so we don't have to insert another one. So we can go right into it. We're just going to select our data. that we want to separate. Go to text to columns. This time select fixed width because it's the same width of numbers, and press next. All right, so for this one, there's no lines that you see created. So you have to just click in here where you want the lines to be. So all you do, we want the first three, right? So you just click somewhere in between these first three and it brings a line for you. Then you want the second two. So you want in a column. So you want to click and then it brings a line in there for you. Let's say you accidentally clicked again and added another line. All you have to do to get rid of that is just click that line, hold your mouse, and then pull it off of that screen, and it'll go away. So that's how you get rid of that. But right now, this looks good for us. So let's press next, and it's showing us how it will look once it's in its columns. And press finish, and now you have the first three, second two, and the last four in three different columns. Up here, we're going to talk about.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
So how would you be able to continue to add data, like more Social Security numbers, and have them split in the same way? You would have to manually do that, or is there a way to create the boxes so that if you put it all in that first box, it will automatically split it for you?
You would just, if you had more Social Security numbers to add here, I guess the best thing to do would be to, you would have each of them listed out right in here, but then you can do the text to columns again only on, sorry, I didn't mean to do that, only on that specified data that you select. Does that make sense?
Yes. You would have to go back and do it again.
Yes, you can do it. Yeah.
Or I was thinking, and maybe this is something that it doesn't do anymore, but I was thinking there was a way you could go in and grab that, those kind of instructions and then drag them into the new boxes, but I guess not.
You mean copy the kind of like the formatting or whatever?
Correct.
Like have it set up as a default when you're doing the Social Security numbers, I think. Am I correct, Anne?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So when you enter the new ones, you don't have to go back and split them again. They will be just defaulted into the three boxes.
I'm not sure. I'd have to look into that. But you wouldn't have to manually do you wouldn't have to manually type each one in here. If that, maybe I'm just misunderstanding. You wouldn't have to do that. You could do, let's just say, you copied and pasted all the Social Security numbers in here from somewhere else, right? All you'd have to do is just select that same data again and run that text to columns. And that takes takes 2 seconds to do that. And then you just next, and then you're finished, right? Does that make sense? I don't know.
I think you would probably just have to do it manually.
You mean
if you added more data, you'd need to split it yourself. Or like you said, put it in and each time tell it to split it. So it'd probably be just easier to split it while you're putting it in.
I think it'd be easier if you put all your Social Security numbers all down through here, and then you just go back through this text columns wizard. You don't do it one by one. You know what I mean?
Oh, I meant, when I was saying doing it one by one, I meant putting them in 3 columns yourself as you add the data.
No, I don't think that's the easiest way. I think you would just, let's just say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. you're putting your numbers in here, right? Your full Social Security numbers. All you do is select it again. Just this data, not this stuff that's already split.
Got it.
And then you run that wizard and go through that. So you don't have to do it each time, and you don't have to split it yourself. I hope that helps. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, let's look at a few more things right quick. We'll try to get through these quickly. The subtotals, let's say we've already got this information sorted by region, Low Country, Midlands, PD, Upstate, but we want totals for each region. And instead of like having to go through and add these up and insert rows and all this stuff, all you have to do is go to, you want to select your headers and your data below. Go to over here. It might already say it on your screen. It may already say subtotal. Look for that first. But if not, it might be under this outline group. Mine says subtotal right here. Click that. So we want at each change in region, right? This is all of our headers. At each change in region, we want to use the function of sum because we want to add together that column, right? And then add subtotal to the 2023 sales. That's the one we wanted. So Excel probably thought, is this what you wanted us to do? Because this is where we saw the numbers. We don't have to worry about anything down here right now. We just press OK. And now it inserted for you these totals for each of these regions and a grand total. If you only wanted to see the totals and not everything around it, you can go over here to this 1, 2, 3 and just select 2. It gives you a more condensed view and it only shows you the totals for those. If you want the regular view back, just press 3 and it'll show everything. All right, lastly, let's talk about VLOOKUPs. This is helpful when you're looking for something quickly within a large amount of data. So here I'm going to type name, payment method, quantity, and member status. It's trying to copy the headers, and in this instance, we don't need that. I'm just gonna change that to where it's easier to see for right now. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to be able to type in someone's name here, and then these 3 things are going to pop up for us. But we have to set those functions up for us, and it's called the VLOOKUP. So first off, you're going to say, well, let's put a name in for you. We'll start with Tito. Okay. Now we want the payment method that Tito used to pop up since his name is there. So we're going to put equals and then VLOOKUP, parentheses. The lookup value is what we want it to look at first. So first we want it to look at Tito's name because we want to see what his payment method was. So we click into this box, I3, do a comma, and your table array, this is where all the information sits. So we want the entire table, so header as well, highlight and select all of it. I'm not going to worry about this total. I'm not worried about selecting that for this purpose. Do another comma. Then you got this column index number. So this is the number of the column that we want it to look at. We want it to look at payment method. And payment method is column E, but in this instance, you have to do it as a number. So A would be 1, B is 2, C is 3, and so forth. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. E is the 5th column. Do number 5, and then comma. And then it says, do you want an approximate match or or an exact match? So we want an exact match most of the time. So you would just type out the word false and do a close parentheses and press enter. And then now it says, this is the payment method that Tito used. And then if you look over here, that is correct. He used a PayPal. All right, we're going to do it again on these two as well, just to have some practice. Equals VLOOKUP, parentheses, look at the name that we type in, comma, table array is going to be your entire table with your headers, minus the totals, comma, column index number. We want the quantity, so that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's the sixth column, comma, and then we want an exact match, so we put the word false, parentheses, and enter. And it says that he bought 6, and if you look over here, he did buy 6. So that's that, sorry. And lastly, we'll do the same thing. Equal sign, VLOOKUP, parentheses, look at this person's name, comma, your entire table, comma, the column index number, so that is member status is column C, which is the third column, comma, and then false because we want an exact match. Enter, and it says that he is a member. You can take this name out. Then all of this is going to say NA because we don't have a name there because it's referring back to this person. Let's just say we want to look at Latoya. Enter. And now it says she paid with credit card. She's got 10, and then she's a non-member. And if you look for Latoya here, non-member, credit card, and she bought 10. So that's how you do VLOOKUPs. I know that was really fast, but just wanted to show y'all. And then if y'all have time, you can just work on the last 3, and we'll try to go over them before we finish up. So y'all go ahead and work on the last 3 exercises.
A quick question, that green flag that popped up when you deleted his name, that's an indicator that there's a code or a formula in that box.
Yes. And it's saying there's an error because it's referring to I3 that has no data in there. It thinks there's an error.
Thanks.
Yeah. All right. I know you probably haven't had enough time, but let's just go ahead and go through them. I don't want to keep anybody after 2 if we can help it. So add a comment in cell B9 that says, should we consider a raise for Ashley? So we'll go to B9, where Ashley's salary is, right click, and go to new comment, and type, should we consider a raise for Ashley? And do the green arrow. And then now we have a comment there, and it is marked by the purple notch. All right. In cell F2, type name. In cell F3, type department. Use the VLOOKUP function to find out what department Billy Joel works in. So we're going to type name here and department. Okay. We can go ahead and type in Billy Joel's name here. Then we're going to say equals VLOOKUP. Parentheses, we're going to look at this person's name in this cell, comma, table array. We'll do the entire header and data, comma, the column index number, which we want the department. So that is the 4th column, comma, and then we want an exact match. So we'll say false, close parentheses, and enter. And it says Billy Joel works in the patient services department. And we go down here, we can find Billy, and that is correct. He does. And then create a column for last name and use the delimited text to columns feature to separate first name from last name into 2 separate columns. Right offhand, we can just we want somewhere for that data to go. So we're going to have to right click on the column where we want to insert a column, press insert, and then now we have somewhere for that last name to go. Let's highlight all of our data that we want. Go to the data tab and go to text to columns. We have a delimiter, a space, so we're doing delimited. Press next. The delimiter is already selected as space. It has already put a line there, so we think that looks good. We press next. And then everything looks good here. Finish. And then now you have your first and last names in 2 different columns. All right. Oh, we already did everything. Okay. Do y'all have any more questions for me? Thank y'all so much for joining today and yesterday. We're going to post this on the website as well in SCCHWA under the professional development tab. And so I really appreciate y'all joining today. I hope this is helpful. And let me know if y'all have any questions. I will also put my information in the chat as well again.
Could you just scroll over that box H3?
Yeah.
Under Billy Joel's name.
Right here?
Uh-huh.
It changed because I put the last names here.
Right.
So that's why
I just wanted to see the formula.
I gotcha.
Because mine isn't coming up, and I was trying to figure out why.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Have a great day.
Thanks, everyone. Y'all have a great day. I'll see y'all soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.